What's up YouTube, jDantastic here, and today I want to be talking about preparing for Dragon Ball FighterZ. Now I know it's a long way off still, and 2018, it sounds a little overwhelming, it's so far away, but however, hold the phone. Turns out we're actually getting a closed beta before this summer, 2017, is even over, which is kind of wild to me, that we're going to get a closed beta, fairly early on, just after the announcement, as a matter of fact. So summer is only, a few months long, so we got a couple more months. We're going to get some access to a closed beta. But one thing that I have seen from people is that, this is well, it's a 2.5D fighter, but a 2D fighter, just in the general sense, and so a lot of people might be a little bit intimidated by that, or they're a little turned off by 2D fighters because that's just not what they prefer, or maybe they're just a little worried that this game might be a little bit more difficult than something that they're interested in playing. And so what I wanted to talk about today was maybe some things that you can do to hopefully help prepare yourself, or to even see if this might be something that you are interested in. So I'm sure that a lot of you are going to buy it anyway just because it is a Dragon Ball title, and we all love to play Dragon Ball games, so you're probably going to throw the cash down and bring the game home and give it a shot because that's what we do. But the game is being developed by Arc System Works, who, as a matter of fact, have been around for quite some time. They've worked on some very high-named games, albeit those were some ports. They didn't necessarily develop the game in the first place, but they did port it over to some other consoles and things like that, and still until they started to develop some of their own games. A few of these named games are Double Dragon and Battletoads, which are very well-known games. Again, those weren't necessarily developed originally by Arc System Works, but they were ported over to the Sega and some other things like that. They are very well known for Guilty Gear and BlazBlue. Guilty Gear being the one that we are focusing on today, but they are responsible for BlazBlue as well, if you want to check out that game. A few of the other things that they're known for, they have worked on some other Dragon Ball games in the past. They had a hand in Extreme Butoden, which as far as I know, they didn't do the full development. They just worked on like the graphics and the sprites, which were beautiful in that game. I don't know how much they actually put into the mechanics of that game, which for a handheld fighter were still, in my opinion, fairly solid. They also worked on some previous mobile, well, not mobile, handheld Dragon Ball Z games, Supersonic Warriors, you might remember those names as well. So they've had a hand in some Dragon Ball Z games in the past, and then they've also, they're mainly fighting games, so they know what they're doing, and now they have their hand on Dragon Ball FighterZ, which is coming out early 2018, and so basically what I'm kind of doing to help myself prepare, because I am not that hardcore of a fighting game player, I'm sure a lot of you know that, but I do really enjoy fighting games. I've never really taken a fighting game super serious. I've never gone to, like, tournaments or anything like that, but I have played a lot of fighting games, like Tekken and Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter and those kind of things, but I feel like with games like Guilty Gear and BlazBlue, they're a little bit more of a serious technical fighter than what a lot of us might be used to, and that can be a little bit intimidating. So one of the really cool things about Guilty Gear is that there is a new one, well, it was an update for the Revelator, so Guilty Gear REV2, it is in the PSN store, it's $40, it just came out on May 26th, I believe, and it's a great game. It's a solid game. You can see the gameplay in the background of this video here, and so I think, now besides the fact that this game doesn't have the 3v3 tag system that we know Dragon Ball FighterZ will, I still think that it would be really helpful if you're interested in kind of getting a leg up on the competition if you're not familiar with 2D fighters or things like that, or if you're not familiar with Arc System Works' style of gameplay. Things could be different in Dragon Ball FighterZ, but for the most part, developers tend to be, they play things close to home, and so it would make sense if Dragon Ball FighterZ was very close in the playstyle and mechanics of Guilty Gear and BlazBlue. So that's why I feel it would be very helpful to pick up Guilty Gear REV2, or at least BlazBlue, whichever one. Like I said, Guilty Gear REV2 is $40 in the PSN store. And it's a ton of fun to play. Before you jump in, it gives you this whole tutorial about explaining the movement and the different ways that you can attack. The movement is it's not very different, but it's quite different than some of the other fighting games that I'm used to, at least, with some double jumps and things like that, and the like dash movement, and there's the Roman cancels that they have in there, so you can like continue your combo. There's very technical stuff in there, and so it's going to be nice to just kind of dip my hand into that a little bit before Dragon Ball FighterZ comes out, especially before the demo comes out, when we really get our hands on it and we know. And then even at that point, so if you get into the closed beta and you play Dragon Ball FighterZ and it is very remnant of Guilty Gear, then you should absolutely pick up Guilty Gear just to fill that void for one between, you know, the end of this summer and early 2018 whenever Dragon Ball FighterZ drops, and then that way you can just practice up. You can really learn, you know, whether or not you're going to enjoy it. Because I honestly think if you really don't enjoy 2D fighters, then you probably shouldn't pick up the game. Just because, you know, I don't want people to drop the money for it and then be like, this game is trash, it's terrible, I hate it. When in reality, it's just because you don't really like 2D fighters, you just picked it up because it was a Dragon Ball title. So I think it would be good for everyone to pick up a different title of the same developer just to get a feel for it and know if you're going to enjoy this game or not. Like I said, I personally really enjoy 2D fighters. I love fighting games in general. This is obviously a Dragon Ball fighting game, so there's no question, zero question, that I'm going to be picking it up, and I'm sure that I'm going to love it because I love every game. Well, not every, I guess I shouldn't say every game. Every Dragon Ball game has a place in my heart, even the not so good ones that we're not going to talk about in this video, but I still love them because they're Dragon Ball. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that's really pretty much all I have to talk about. I mean, there are some other things, you know, that people have been questioning, like the roster, which again, I kind of talked about this in my video the other day. I don't think it's going to be a very large roster. I think it's going to be a pretty well-rounded, wonderfully balanced roster, just because when you have smaller rosters, it's easier to make a balanced game. The question about super characters, we still don't have a ton of information about that yet. We did see Golden Frieza in the trailer, and then I believe we also get a few shots of Goku in his gi from the Super series, where, you know, he goes Super Saiyan Blue, which would be kind of hinting at the fact that maybe there will be a Super Saiyan Blue Goku version in the game, and not just Dragon Ball Z characters, which I know a lot of people are, you know, really cautious about. If they don't give us super characters, a lot of people are going to be upset, myself included. Again, not going to stop me from purchasing the game, but if we don't get some of those new forms or some of those new characters in this new game, it will be a little bit disappointing. It's going to be a little bit of a letdown, just because the new characters are very exciting. They're very, very exciting characters. Characters like Beerus in the game, or maybe some of the new Saiyans from Universe 6 in the game. There's a wide variety of characters that have been introduced as of late that they could add into the game, and it would be very exciting. I've also seen a few people that are throwing out wild accusations like it's a Street Fighter clone, which is just kind of wild to me, because it really doesn't look like Street Fighter to me. I mean, other than the fact that it's a 2D fighter, 2.5D fighter, there's a 3v3 tag system. Like Rhymestyle has talked about, there's this potential for the instant kills. We don't know if that's going to be a thing yet or not, but it is something that Arc System likes to do in their games, which is vastly different from Street Fighter. That comment came up more times than I thought it would. You know, like one person comes out and they're like, it's a Street Fighter clone. You can kind of brush that guy off and being like a little crazy. But when I got a handful of people in my comments being like, this is a Street Fighter clone, and I'm like, let's pump the brakes on Street Fighter clone, because that's kind of wild to me. I don't see Street Fighter very much in this game. What was the other thing that people were talking? Because it's not Xenoverse, because it's not like a 3D fly-around game. People were saying that Xenoverse was better. Now again, I'm not here to tell you that Dragon Ball FighterZ is a better game. I'm not here to tell you that Xenoverse is a better game or a worse game. I'm just saying it's okay to like Xenoverse better. That is totally fine. But saying that Dragon Ball FighterZ is a trash game is just, it's a little wild. Again, you gotta pump the brakes on that. It's totally cool if you want to spend the next year and a half or year or whatever playing Xenoverse 2 until the next Dragon Ball game comes out that you might enjoy a little bit better because it's not a 2D fighter. That's totally fine. I get it. I love Xenoverse 2 as well. And I can understand that Dragon Ball FighterZ might not be everyone's cup of tea. It's going to be a very competitive, serious fighter. We already have talks of EVO. There are professional fighting game players that are getting hyped up. Maximilian is all over this. Justin Wong is tweeting about it. I mean, it's really out there, and there's a lot of competitive fighters that are excited about this game, so it is going to be something that's different. And if that's not something you're into, that's totally cool, but try not to rain on everyone else's parade and tell them that the game looks like it's trash or something, because you're just inciting other feuds for no apparent reason whatsoever. So there's my little rant that we don't know too much. We do know that there is going to be a closed beta sometime towards the end of the summer. We don't have any details about whether or not you're going to be able to get into the closed beta, whether the closed beta is going to be on every platform or if it's just going to be specific to a certain platform. And oh, for the love of goodness and all that is holy, please tell your friends this is not an Xbox exclusive title. It is coming to the PS4, Xbox One, and Steam. I promise you. I know that Microsoft unveiled it at E3. They were the ones that showed the trailer. It is not, for the love of all that is holy, an Xbox exclusive. So please, please, please let everyone know. I saw so many people freaking out like, oh my gosh, Xbox exclusive, what am I gonna do? Don't worry, it is not an Xbox exclusive title. It is coming to the PS4, to the Xbox One, and Steam. So there you go. No more panicking has to ensue. Ladies and gentlemen, the game in the background again is Guilty Gear REV2. It is on the PSN store for $40. If you want to check it out, get your hand in there, get your hands wet. As a matter of fact, I believe there's a free demo for the game that comes with all of the characters. I don't know exactly what you can do in the demo. I jumped into the full game from the gun. But there is a free demo available, I believe, where you can test out all the characters and everything like that. So that's even better for those of you that are like, man, I don't want to shell out the $40 right away just to know if I'm going to like this game or not. Check out the free demo first, and then if you're like, hey, this is pretty cool, I could get into this, then you can drop $40, have something to hone your skills. When Dragon Ball FighterZ drops in 2018 and you're playing with your friends, you're going to be like, I already know how to destroy your face. Let's do this thing. Ladies and gentlemen, there you go. That's what I wanted to talk about today. Just a little thing, just a few points about Arc System Works and some of the games they've worked on in the past, some things that you can help yourself do to prepare for Dragon Ball FighterZ, whether that's training up in 2D fighters or whether that's just getting your hands wet and seeing if you know, this type of game is going to be something that you're into. So I've rambled on enough, ladies and gentlemen. If you're hyped up for Dragon Ball FighterZ again, if you've enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. If you're gonna pick up Guilty Gear, let me know with the comment down below, because I would love to know. Maybe we can get some fights on that. Maybe I can stream that sometime. Who knows? Maybe we can do more videos on that game itself. If you are not subscribed yet, make sure you hit that subscribe button. There's going to be tons of Dragon Ball FighterZ content on this channel. I'm going to cover everything. I'm going to play the game like crazy when it comes out. So crazy, in fact, you'll probably get tired of me playing the game. Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, as always, I'll talk to you in the next video. Later.